Well, thank you, Mark, for the introduction, and it's great to be introduced by a fellow Man United supporter. We had an executive meeting earlier on, and I thought I might have dragged Peter here, but he went off to lick his wounds after the Chelsea result last night. Anyway, it's a great pleasure to be here, and to be here with my ministerial colleagues, David Ford and Danny Kennedy, and also with Simon Hamilton and Alban McGuinness, and the new head of the civil service, Malcolm McKibben. Alban, there's a light directly above your head, and it's shining straight into my face. Is there any chance you could do something about it? No, it's wonderful to see the Christmas trees up. When the Christmas trees go up, sometimes at the beginning of November, you know that Christmas is about to come. And earlier this week, I had a visit to what's called the Santa Trail at Ardmore in County Derry. And we were royally treated there by the pupils of Ardlee Primary School and Foyleview Special School. And they've got a band called Plantin, which auditioned last weekend for the Britain's Got Talent show. And they played a few songs for us, and they were absolutely fantastic. They were great. It is really fantastic to go and see people who are intellectually challenged, how they can enjoy themselves and how they can perform, and allow us to enjoy ourselves watching the great courage and determination that they have. Just as I was about to leave, one of them, I think he was about 13 years of age, came up to me and he said, "Martin, Steve Jobs is gone." And I said, "I know, it's very sad." He said, "Johnny Cash is gone." And I was wondering where all this was leading. And I said, "I know, he had a great voice." And he said, "Bob Hope's gone too." And I said, "I know, he was a great comedian." And he turned around and he said to me, "No Jobs, no Cash, and no Hope." What a lift those kids can give you. And after Francis's speech, I have the job of trying to lift your spirits. But anyway, it's great here to celebrate the fantastic work that the Chamber of Commerce is involved in. 6 months ago, we contested Assembly elections, and the clear message from the results of that election is that the electorate wanted us as politicians to work together on their behalf. Somebody mentioned another election that I was involved in earlier, and quite a number of people said to me, "What was the first thing Peter Robbins said to you when you came back?" And I said, "Well, I'm not going to tell you what he said to me, but I'll tell you what I said to him. I said it was great to see a friendly politician's face." But more seriously, for the past 5 years, I have worked diligently with both Ian Paisley and Peter Robinson and ministerial colleagues from all parties to provide an unprecedented new political era, which with continuing goodwill and collective determination will see us prevail in our work to provide a better, brighter and prosperous future for all. The last 5 years have seen a step change in peace and the politics of the North. We have completed the first full term of an inclusive power-sharing executive in the history of this state. We have faced challenges within and outside of the political process, and we have met those challenges and we have maintained working relationships and institutions. I believe there remains a very strong unity of purpose at the heart of government to build on the achievements of the Executive and the Assembly and to strengthen our relationships and to build on our agreements. In this term, we face the need to deliver for all our people in the face of very significant economic challenges. We've now published our blueprint for the next 4 years. Last Thursday, the Executive published its draft programme for government, its economic strategy, its investment strategy, and it's with that programme for government that I will begin. The programme is bold and it is imaginative, and it sets out some very challenging and ambitious aims. We aim to deliver 25,000 new jobs, to achieve 300 million in foreign direct investment, and to support 300 million in research and development. And tonight I want to emphasise that this is a clear statement of our intent. It is a statement that we are prepared to take responsibility for our future economic prosperity. It demonstrates that we are ready to modernise, innovate and reform, and most importantly, it shows that we are open for business. The draft programme for government focuses on the issues that matter most to people, issues that affect us on a daily basis. So the programme of government is our commitment to all of our people. It is a sound basis for economic and social recovery. That is why we are committed to supporting 300 million investment by businesses in research and development, with at least 20% coming from small and medium-sized enterprises. Increasing our manufacturing exports by 15%, supporting 200 projects through the Creative Industries Innovation Fund, increasing annual visitor numbers to 3.6 million by 2013, and consequently boosting tourism revenue, aiding liquidity in small and medium enterprises through a 50 million loan fund, delivering 8,000 social and affordable homes, ensuring that 90% of large-scale investment planning decisions are made within 6 months, and applications with job creation potential are given additional weight, introducing an extension of the Small Business Rate Relief Scheme to 2015, and eliminating air passenger duty on direct long-haul flights. In doing this, we can increase our competitiveness, create and attract jobs, attract more visitors, and secure our economic future in a fair and prosperous society. As an executive, we continue to press the British government to devolve corporation tax, and while we have no guarantee of success in this, it is clear that a lower level of corporation tax would enable us to be more competitive and would provide us with a strong stimulus to promote the growth that is necessary to rebalance our economy. While we note the coalition government's creation of a working group to move this issue forward, we are not happy with the delay in making a final decision. So we want an early decision. Corporation tax powers potentially offer the executive a major opportunity to bring about a step change in our economic performance. But while we want these powers, we must make sure that the costs do not outweigh the benefits. As currently presented, they are prohibitively high, and we will continue to challenge the Treasury on every aspect of their estimates and won't stop until we have secured the best possible deal. To successfully compete with larger and faster growing economies, we need to play to our strengths in terms of excellence and innovation. We have shown that we can attract investment from world-class brands and companies, and this clearly shows that we have a world-class proposition to put. Companies like HBO, the New York Stock Exchange, Citigroup, Allstate and Seagate, they don't make investment decisions without doing their homework. And only last week the First Minister and I were very pleased to attend the official opening of offices for Allen and Overy. This internationally renowned company will be providing over 300 jobs, and Belfast was chosen from about 20 possible locations, and this shows that we are entirely capable of competing in the global job market. Also, recently we were able to announce another 500 jobs at City's new offices in the Titanic Quarter. After 5 years here now, City now employs 800 people with the potential for increases in the coming years. So it's vital that we give people the opportunity to gain the skills necessary for high-quality jobs that can help us reach our and their full potential. However, we must fully understand the challenges that we face. The number of jobs continues to fall, and the number of people unemployed continues to rise. Forecasts for growth next year and the year after are being revised downwards. Looking beyond the local economy, we are very concerned about the uncertainty over the future of the euro. Recent surveys appear to suggest slowing growth in the EU economies, and we may feel the impact of this through reduced demand for our exports. So given all this, the real question is, can we meet our programme for government and economic strategy targets? Well, I think we already have had some positives. The latest research and development figures show that just over 520 million was spent in total on R&D in 2010 by businesses, higher education and government. And this was the highest expenditure ever and was an increase of 8% on the 2009 figure. The increased expenditure by local companies is particularly encouraging as it was up 27% on 2009 figures. So we need to build up a high-value added Indigenous sector. We need to encourage greater investment in research and development and give our companies greater competitive advantage in markets where there are still opportunities for growth. We must continue to encourage collaboration between local companies and the further and higher education sector. Our agri-food industry continues to shine through during this recession. Last year, the agri-food industry generated 1.5 billion in output from farming and 3.7 billion from the food and drinks processing industry. At a time when our manufacturing sector was not growing, gross sales in the food and drinks processing sector grew by 8.3% in 2010, and 70% of these sales were to outside markets. The agri-food industry is not the only good news story. There are others, such as the creation of 247 high-quality jobs by PricewaterhouseCoopers, the expansion of Capital Life and pensions to create 336 jobs, Micro Focus to create 72 jobs, a 4.4 million collaborative R&D project between Almac Group and Queen's University, the expansion of the New York Stock Exchange Euronext business operation, and I could go on and on. Our programme for government consolidates the progress that we have made to deal with the very real and challenging issues which we face and how to confirm how we plan to move ahead over the coming years. We've structured it around specific commitments to the people, and these reflect issues that people are telling us about, and it is clear to me that the economy is central to all that we do, but growth must be sustainable and it must be fair. We must ensure that those who are the most isolated and vulnerable in our society will be protected, and we must ensure that we do everything we can to alleviate the hardship that many people are feeling at this time. That is why Peter Robinson and myself are agreed that we will provide winter fuel payments for the most vulnerable in our society. We will ensure that we include social clauses in all public procurement contracts for supplies, services and construction so that local people benefit from departmental expenditure. We will invest 80 million through the Social Investment Fund in the most disadvantaged communities to continue the important work of renewing communities. We have made commitments to implement the review of public administration to reduce the number of councils from 26 to 11, resulting in savings of over 400 million. And we have also announced that we have agreed to establish a single education and skills authority, which will be operational by 2013. We have also committed to advancing shared education over the coming period, and we will ensure that all children will have the opportunity to participate in shared education programmes, and we will substantially increase the number of schools sharing facilities. This is an important issue for our society, and don't let anyone underestimate the challenge that we face in progressing shared education. There are many within our society who may be still resistant to the reality of shared education, and I make the call tonight to those who are still to be convinced of the benefits of shared education to join with us and work with us to make our education system the best that it can be. We also need to challenge ourselves to share education, not only across the religious divide, but also across the socio-economic divide. People only need to look at the exciting plans at the Lissanelli Shared Education Campus in Oma, on the site of a former military site, where we have schools from all sectors willing to come together to create a new centre of educational excellence for the area. So this important work must also be progressed. Our economic future depends on how we plan our educational future. We also need to take advantage of opportunities to work in partnership and maximise the benefits of North-South cooperation. The economies of the island of Ireland must be exploited for mutual economic benefit. And this is not a political aspiration, but I believe it is a statement which makes economic sense. I believe that greater cooperation across the island will deliver more for all of our people than the existing competition between our regions. As outlined in the draft programme for government, our North-South links are important in helping us to deliver our priorities, and we are committed to this. We have common economic and budgetary challenges, and in this respect, we are pleased that the Irish Government is considering how we might have a fuller voice within areas of interest, such as NAMA. There is general agreement between us that where we can make savings through mutually beneficial cooperation, it's incumbent on us to do so. Two good examples are in the areas of health and education. Within health, the work on the development of the radiotherapy centre at Galvin in my home city is progressing well, and the two ambulance services have agreed to a memorandum of understanding to provide for cross-border assistance in the event of major incidents. We are also committed to increasing cross-border collaborative projects to draw down European funding, and I welcome the work that's been taken forward on this, and also the fact that Intertrade Ireland has dedicated resources and recently launched a new tool to help companies and researchers find cross-border partners for their projects. In our programme for government, we recognise the significant contribution that tourism can make to our economy, and the recent success of the MTV Awards and the associated tourism benefits is an example of what can be achieved, and I am confident that this will be dramatically built upon over the next couple of years with the opening of the new tourist attractions like Titanic Belfast and the Giant's Causeway Visitor Centre next year, and of course Derry having the honour of being City of Culture in 2013. We will also host the World Police and Fire Games in 2013 and hope to announce the hosting of a major international golf tournament very soon. So you can see that despite the gloom, there is the prospect of brighter days ahead. But we recognise that we can't deliver all of this unilaterally. We need support from people across society, including the public, private and voluntary sectors. And I am confident that working together, we will achieve the aims and objectives set out in the programme for government, and that together we will build a strong and fair economy that will provide jobs, opportunities and a real future for all of the people here. So the size of the challenge economically we face is not insurmountable. The political process demonstrates that progress is always possible, and the scale of political change achieved over the past number of years, I think, have important lessons for our economic future. So we have led on political progress, and we will bring the same approach, the same energy and innovation to delivering a better economy for all of our people, and to work in cooperation with the Chamber and all those who have an interest in ensuring that developing the economy remains front and centre of our programme for government. So thanks for the invitation to come, and I hope all of you enjoy this evening.